All right, welcome everybody to another episode of the Global Renaissance Podcast. We got a special guest today. Nick, how you doing, bro?
Good, bro. It's been a long time.
Facts,
man.
man.
A long time, man.
This is a dope episode. So for those of you who don't know, we'll probably get into this eventually, but me and Nick used to be neighbors. We used to talk all the time about the things we were getting into, and now it's funny to see us just on that journey. But Nick, go ahead and introduce yourself to those who don't know you.
So my name is Nick Loriano. I'm from Stoughton, Massachusetts. I originally resided in Brockton. I grew up there for most of my life, about 10 years. Then I moved to Stoughton, and then I actually moved next to Trevor. Trevor's my next door neighbor. And then him and I used to go back and forth and ball all the time. I used to kind of get on him a little bit about trying to keep up to my stature and my level. And he was always like, yo, Nick, I'm going to be better than you one day. Like, I promise you, just watch. And then he got his little brother trying to come in too. And his brother was always trying to compete with us as well. And Trevor and I just built a bond for a long time. And the fact that we're here now and helping each other grow and elevate, there's really no better feeling than that. So I think just me, throughout my journey, I've kind of just realized, like, you know what? I want to be around people that help me win, help me elevate, help me get to a better point in life. Because if I'm staying stagnant, if I'm keeping myself suppressed, I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice. And I don't want to put myself in a position where I lose everything that I worked hard for, because I know how long and how hard it took me to get where I'm currently at. But I mean, I'm 26 now. I'm still on my journey. I'm still ready to go. And look, we're gonna get more into that, so don't just watch.
For sure. Now, tell the people, like, what are some of the things that you're getting into right now? I know, obviously, you got the brand Only the Motivated. What are some of the things that you're into right now?
So right now, I got the clothing brand Only the Motivated. I'm doing that right now. We got a lot of things in store this year. Basically, our brand is all about motivation, upliftment, positivity. Just trying to help the people find their voice, find their passion. Whatever it is that they want to do in life, they can do it as long as they have, one, the mindset, and two, you just gotta follow your heart, whatever's best for you. So I made this brand just specifically as an image, as a beacon of light for people to be able to express themselves, express their voice, whatever they want to do. Whoever people said that they couldn't do it, made fun of them, this brand gives them the reason to keep going, because in life you gotta stay motivated, you gotta stay positive. You gotta uplift yourself, because no one's gonna have you like you have you.
Facts.
No one's ever gonna believe in you like you believe in you. And basically, I'm doing that. I'm getting into acting. I just signed an agent a couple months back, so I'm waiting to this year. I'm really trying to like set the ground running and trying to get in some shows, some films. And then also, I'm just a motivational speaker. I just love uplifting people, seeing people win in life, helping them try to find their voice, their way of reason. You gotta walk in your purpose every single day. And me, I get no credit, no money from that. I just know that at one point in my life, I was very stuck, and I didn't know if I was ever going to get out of it. I didn't know if I'd ever find my way. I didn't know what it was I wanted to do, but I just kept telling myself, and you know what? People always came to me for advice. They always came to me as somebody that's like, okay, Nick, what should I do in this predicament? How should I go about it? What should I do to make myself better? And how can I really elevate to make myself this person that I think I should be? And me, I get all the joy from that, because I know that at one point in my life, I knew that I was there too. So I wanted to help them and help everybody in the world through my content, through my platform, through the brand. Just help them find a way through life, help them be the best version of themselves. And that if you just put your mind to it and give your heart to it all, you can accomplish really anything.
For sure, and that's super dope. That message, I think, rings true for so many people, and that's something that, we've seen the impact that you've had already and the impact that you're going to continue to have. Can you take us back, right? What led to you creating this brand? You can take us back as far as you want to, but what was that kind of journey to you getting to this point now where you feel like you've got a solid path ahead of you, you know what it is you wanted to do? Because like you said, you weren't always at that position. So how did you grow into this person you are today and the journey that you're on?
Honestly, the best way I can sum it up is I've always been an athlete. I've always been someone that's dedicated to my craft, always putting my best foot forward, giving my 100%, sometimes even my 110%. I've been a basketball player my whole life. When I was living in Stoughton, I played on the travel team through middle school, played at the varsity level, played in high school, and I was always looked at as a kid that's like the one that's on the very last person on the bench, the one that nobody really like cared about. And the one thing I kept telling myself, you know what, these people don't even know me. They think I'm just a scrap kid that just came from Brockton, doesn't know how to play ball, isn't going to fit in with us. And I was like, you know what, that kind of gave me a little leisure right there. Like, I always have to stay motivated because I only have myself. Everybody kept making fun of me. They told me I wasn't going to be nothing in life. Sometimes my parents even told me that. But I was like, you know what? I got to be my own best friend. I got to be my own best friend, my own critic, my own supporter, and my enemy all in one. Because like I said, no one's ever going to have you like you have you. And I just kept telling myself, I'm like, Nick, it's looking bad right now. It's not looking good for you right now. But if you give up, you're giving into the statistic that it's easy for other people to give up too. You know what I mean? So I just kept telling myself like, yo, when I'm going through high school, through college, I kept like working on my craft, getting in shape, getting better at playing basketball. And then from there, like I just started to getting into basketball training after college. I started training the youth because I was always like an advocate for the youth, helping the youth find their way, help them like make the decisions that we didn't make growing up. And especially just being that voice of reason for them, because being a role model for like somebody of that age can do wonders. And I just feel like with me, I've always been somebody that's just always out to help others before himself. And yeah, it can be to my detriment a little bit, but I personally just love helping other people. And throughout my journey, I've always tried to just stay motivated, stay positive, no matter what the outcome or situation was in that point in time. I just kept trying to tell myself that no matter what happens, as long as I gave my all, as long as I gave my 110%, I can be okay with that, because me, slow progress is better than no progress. That's how I look at it.
That's a fact. When did you realize like the value of hard work? Because I distinctly remember, you know, there was a point in time where we used to go, so my backyard, right? We have a basketball hoop there, and so it's adjustable. So we used to be able to put it up, put it down. I always wanted to put the hoop down because I wanted to dunk. Like I can't dunk on a 10-foot hoop, right? I'm like 12, so I would always put it down. But you would always be getting your shots up on the 10-foot hoop, practicing your moves. When did you realize the value of hard work and what it looked like to actually work on your craft?
Honestly, the best way I can sum that up as well is just basically just you got to give it your all. You got to give it your all. You got to be dedicated to your craft, because no one's ever going to believe in your craft and believe in you if you don't even believe in that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people will say, oh, I need you to support my movement. I need you to support this. I need you to support that. But they're not giving that same reciprocated energy. You know what I mean? A lot of people want you to support what they're doing, want you to support their endeavors and their hard work, but they'll never give you that same energy in return. Sometimes you got to be a popular loner. You know what I mean? A lot of people think of it as like, oh, what do you mean by that? What I mean by that is you gotta be your own best friend. You gotta be able to love yourself so much that the opinion of somebody else will never bother you, will never faze you, will never throw you off. I've just learned that if I dedicate my all to taming myself, taming my emotions, becoming one with myself, and just giving my all to my craft, no matter what it is I was doing at that point in time, I could be okay with that, because I know that a lot of people go through life wondering if they're ever gonna be enough for themselves, ever gonna be enough for society. You know, with the pandemic going on, a lot of people lost confidence. At one point, I was like that too, but I was like, you know what? If I sit here, I'm giving it to that whole statistic that it's easy to give up. And giving up is true. That personally should be the pandemic, giving up, because a lot of people give up on their dreams, their visions. They let the opinion of somebody else stop them from doing that. That's terrible, man. It's terrible, because a lot of people have so much potential, have so much like talent. They don't even realize they have it because they let somebody else throw them off. They're thinking like, oh, that vision's unrealistic. Like a podcast, for example, or trying to be an actor or a rapper, no matter what profession you're in. People always let somebody else dictate how they can go about their journey. It's your journey. Nobody knows your journey like you do. And that's one thing I have to keep telling myself, is that it's my journey. People aren't going to understand me. They're not going to understand why I'm doing it. But at the end of the day, it's me that loves it. It's me that finds a joy in it. And if that's the way it's got to go, sometimes I got to cut some people off along the way. And even though I don't want to, I got to do what's best for me. Because at the end of the day, my happiness and my joy and my passion inside of me, that means more to me than just trying to, you know, let somebody else tell me what I can do in my life. And I got to live on my own terms.
For sure. So you said, you know, after college you got into training for basketball, and I remember that. So can you talk a little bit about because that's something that I think, you know, if you're into basketball, if you're into sports, you've probably been on Instagram, you've probably seen people train. Like, what was that like? Because I imagine that was probably your first time really building something like that for yourself. You have a pretty solid brand out here. Like, I remember seeing you at the 24/7. The kids are coming up to you, training the kids. What was it like to build that for yourself, and what lessons did you learn from your time as a trainer?
Honestly, what I learned from being a trainer was I learned to develop a lot of confidence. I developed a lot of character, because these kids are looking up to me as someone to influence them, teach them the game the right way. And I've seen a lot of trainers around that what made me want to be a trainer mostly is I've seen a lot of trainers just scamming people. Just like either one, it's all about the money. It's not about the dedication of the craft. Because me being a basketball player, I got better over the years. So I just had to put in my all every single day, either after school, before classes. I just woke up early in the morning. I was like, you know what? I got to get in shape. I got to work on my handles, my jump shot. And I know that when I had to go through it, I didn't have a trainer. So I had to learn the game on my own. So teaching these young kids what I had to go through is one that builds a lot of character, because you're learning more about yourself as you're practicing. You know more, what makes you mad, what makes you happy, what makes you sad. So I had to teach these kids, like, you know what? No matter how tough the game is, no matter how tough the competition is, and how much your opponent may even be better than you or worse than you, you got to take every game and every situation as it could be your last moment. And personally, I just try to help them build character, build confidence in themselves, and help them realize that no matter if you're playing a game or not, you got to remember that there's always more after the game. Because people think that, oh, we're going to play sports forever. We're going to try to, make it to the NBA, the NFL, whatever it is you want to do. But you got to remember that there's life after sports. There's so much more to life than just playing sports. Like if I were to go down in history as somebody that made it to the NBA, right, or a motivational speaker, whatever it is I'm doing, right, say if I went 40, 50 years of my life and that's all I'm known for, I feel like I failed as a man. And that's what I try to teach these kids, that you can't be known for just the one profession that you're in. You got to be remembered for the impact that you left on society, on the human race. Because a lot of people will only remember you for one thing. And you got to ask yourself what you want that one thing to be. And that's why I try to teach these kids that going through life, it's going to be tough. You're going to have bumps in the road. There's going to be obstacles. Yeah, it's good that we're here. I'm teaching you the game, and you're learning things. You're learning about the game, learning how to be better as a player. But you got to learn life skills too. And that's what I try to implement, is teaching life skills like, work on being with yourself sometimes. Don't worry about trying to impress other people. Work on being your own best friend. Like, love yourself but first before you can love other people or even love your craft. And I think building those life skills are very important, because basketball, football, whatever sport you're playing can only take you so far. But I think being able to implement those life skills and build character within yourself, that alone can go far.
That's true. So how does somebody do that, right? So we know that it's important to love ourselves. We know it's important to be our best friends. But how exactly do I do that? If I'm somebody who struggles with self-confidence, if I'm someone who struggles, I always want to be accepted by other people, what are the steps I can take to actually become more self-confident, become somebody who's comfortable being by myself?
That's a great question. Honestly, the best way I can answer that is you got to learn who you are. You got to learn who Trevor is. I got to learn who Nick is. Sometimes it's going to be lonely at the top, but I'd rather choose growth over company any day. And another reason why I'm going to add to that is people put themselves around people that have no ambition, that don't inspire them, don't motivate them, that don't help them be better in life. You got to remember that your circle is everything. Your environment is everything. If you put yourself around people that want to do good, that talk about building credit, building a business, being a better person, being a better individual, what makes you think that you won't be that next person, right? You got to put yourself in predicaments and situations where you're only going to elevate. You don't want to stay stagnant the whole time, because if you're staying stagnant, you're doing yourself a disservice and the people around you a disservice, because you're stunting your own growth and stunting your own potential of what you could potentially be. And then you're thinking to yourself, damn, is it me or is it my circle? So you got to reevaluate the things that are around you. A lot of people don't understand that. They think it's them that's the problem. Actually, it's the circle that you're in, because if you put yourself around people that want to drink, that want to smoke, that want to party all the time, I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, because, hey, get it how you live. But at the same time, you got to put yourself around people that want to elevate, that want to perfect their craft, that want to be known for something. I want to be known for somebody that made an impact on society, and actually, when I go out and my time is up, I want to be known for the kid that never gave up, worked hard, and no matter what somebody said about him and what the situation looked like, I always give him my all, and I can be okay with that. So I think that people need to understand that when you're going through life, when you're going through certain situations, you got to remember nobody's ever going to have your best interest at heart, and nobody's ever going to love you like you love you. So give it your all, do what you got to do, and make sure that you put your best foot forward, not knowing what the outcome could be, but you got to be okay with whatever result happens from that.
For sure. Now, speaking of maybe not knowing the outcomes, right? So you were doing, you were a basketball trainer. At some point, you stopped, right? What led to that decision, and then what did you do following that?
To be honest, I'm glad you said that. Honestly, a lot of people ask me this question, why I stopped being a basketball trainer, and this one really hits home for me. The reason why I say that is because, people don't realize that when you're doing basketball training, you're there for other people. You're there to train the kids, you're there to train the youth, you're there to help to build them up. But what people don't understand is, they ever check on how Nick's doing? They ever check on how Nick's feeling? How's Nick, taking all this in? What really led me to stopping doing that in general is my mental health was really screwed up. Like, I didn't really know if I wanted to continue doing it. I feel like I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, everybody always hit me up every day, like, yo, Nick, let's get in the gym. Like, yo, can you help me, can you help bring me to this tryout? Can you help me go talk to this coach? And I was always giving myself to other people, giving them myself access to other people, but I wasn't giving that same energy and access back to myself. And I think that's where I really went wrong, is because I messed up my mental health by being and giving myself to so many people, but not being there to take a day for myself and think, okay, Nick, take a day to reevaluate your life, reevaluate what you're doing, and really reassess yourself and ask yourself, is this something you want to see yourself doing long term? Like, I wasn't even in it for the money. Like, it was good money, don't get me wrong, but my true love and passion for it was helping those kids be a good role model for them, because a lot of them didn't have parents in their lives, and I want to be a good role model and just give them advice that I wish I had myself growing up, because I didn't have a role model. I didn't have people to tell me, Nick, you shouldn't be doing that, you shouldn't be doing this, I think you should do this. Like, personally, I want to be an influence to them and just tell them, like, yo, whoever you got in your life, keep that person with you. No matter what happens, keep good company around you, because when you have good people around you, it makes you, one, feel good about yourself, and it helps you realize your worth and what you're really meant to do in life. And honestly, like, take control of your mental health. If you feel like you're not yourself, take a day to yourself and just reassess yourself, retrace your steps, go back to the drawing board, because people think that we gotta rush the process, we gotta rush to go through life. It's not a race, it's a marathon, like Nipsey said. It's a race, it's not a marathon. So you gotta literally just take it day by day, take it step by step, and understand that you're gonna have days where you're not yourself. You're gonna have days where you feel like your mental is taking control of you. But what I've learned along my journey is once you master the mental, you can literally do anything in life. You're unstoppable in my eyes, because the mental is the hardest thing to master. Once people actually master the mental, you can literally do anything, and I really stand by that.
That's a fact. That's a fact, because it translates, right? Like
Yes.
you could build a skill in basketball, right? But it's more that mindset that you know, okay, I understood the discipline it took to get up every day and go to the gym before school and go to the gym after school. And that's something that you can translate. So you stop training, right? Then from there, you decide, okay, maybe training isn't for me long term. What did you do from there?
So after I stopped training, it's funny. I actually went to the military for about 6 months, and people don't know that, because I didn't really tell a lot of people. But I did the reserves. So I did the reserves for a few. Like, I was in a bad mental space. I just told myself, like, Nick, I need to get away for a few months. Just really find myself again, find what it is I want to do in life, find my purpose. And while I was training, I was always doing motivational speaking too, because people always came to me for advice. I'm like, you know what? People look at me as a go-to. I've always been a motivational person. So why not try to create content where I can motivate and uplift somebody else that's probably going through something, either mentally, emotionally, couldn't find themselves. And me, like, I just love doing that. So I kind of kept that going. But now I'm trying to be known as a motivational speaker and an actor. That's my main professions right now. But I went to Navy for a few months. I came back, and I was really disciplined in my mind, my emotions that I didn't have control of before. I know how to take control of now. And I think when you know how to take control of your emotions and take control of yourself, you really know who you are. You get a sixth sense of, like, okay, now that I know how to master my emotions and master who I am, nobody can tell me differently, because I didn't want people's perceptions and their own reality of me to have this fixated notion that I was this perception of them in my eyes. I want to be my own version of myself. I don't want people telling me what they thought was best for me. I want to do what's best for me myself. You know what I mean? And a lot of people paint this narrative that you're the bad guy, you're the problem, and you need to fix things in yourself, but they lack accountability in things that they do as well. So you can't be so quick to point the finger at what somebody else is doing if you can't point it back at yourself. You know what I mean? But when I came back from the Navy, I told myself, I'm like, you know, it wasn't even something I wanted to do. It's not something I want to do for the rest of my life. I just did it to kind of get away for a few months, and, you know, it helped me a lot. So I do, like, I go away once a month on the weekend, but mostly I told myself, like, Nick, I got to really find what it is I want to do. How can I make an income off what I'm doing now? And doing my motivational speaking, I'm not making an income. I'm doing it simply for the love. Because I think that you got to do it for the love and not the paycheck. A lot of people chase a paycheck, but they don't actually love what they do. You know what I mean? So I think you got to understand that, well, if you love what you do, the money will come. It may not come right away, but it will come. So no matter who tells you that, oh, it's fictitious, it's not possible, it's not going to happen. Personally, that's just a lie. That's a narrative they're trying to tell you. Like, they're scared of what you could actually become. They're scared of how much greatness and potential and talent you really have. So when people tell you that you ain't gonna make it, when people tell you that you're never gonna be anything in life, they're afraid of you. They're afraid of the notion that you are actually gonna be somebody. And I get told that all the time. Even still, I have people saying, "Oh, Nick, I'm so proud of you. Like, you motivate me, you inspire me. Like, I want to be like you when I grow up." I'm like, that's cool, but be yourself. Don't be like me. Don't follow my path. Follow your own path, because it's not about you following somebody else's path. Because if you say you want to be like somebody, you want to paint this narrative that you have to do everything that they do. Follow your own intuition, follow your own spirit, and follow your own heart, because then I guarantee you the things that don't make sense now will start to make sense to you. And for me, that's what happened. The things that didn't make sense ended up starting to make sense along my journey, and it's still like that. Like, I'm not where I want to be, I'm not where I should be, but as long as I'm making strides every single day, like I said, slow progress is better than no progress. As long as I'm making strides every single day to be better and help myself grow in ways that I never thought I could, I'm okay with that, because being stagnant is not an option in my eyes.
That's a fact. And I think if y'all missed it, Like you said something really important, that sometimes people will try to limit you based off what they feel about themselves. Where if someone says you can't, tells you that you can't do something, they're really saying that I don't believe I can do that thing, and because we're in close proximity to each other, I'm gonna project that onto you. But when you have that mental fortitude of like, no, I'm gonna do whatever it is that I want to do anyway, you can really push through a lot of barriers that people try to place on you. So I think that's definitely a super important thing that people should pick up on. Now, as far as your brand acting, like. First of all, talk about acting, because what is that like to try to be an actor? I know a lot of people have probably had that thought as a kid, like, I want to be a famous actor. But what is that actually like? Like, what steps do you have to go through to become an actor?
It's funny because I'm actually still in the beginning stages of it, so I'm kind of learning as I go. But I have a lot of mentors that are in the acting space that kind of give me some free game and just tell me, like, Nick, like, it's all about confidence. It's all about being confident in how you speak it, how you act it. Like, sometimes we sit around and make jokes with our friends. We do like these little scenarios that we're playing, like things from movies and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like that. Like, you got to just kind of get out your comfort zone. That's kind of with anything in life. You got to get out your comfort zone to see if it's something really for you. And I think what stops people's growth in whatever profession they're in is because they don't know how to get out of their comfort zone. I didn't think I wanted to be an actor. I didn't think that I wanted to actually do this. But I told myself, I'm like, Nick, I got to do things that I'm not normally accustomed to. I got to try different things that I couldn't see myself doing. Like, growing up, I had so many different goals that I wanted to do, I thought I wanted to achieve. But me, I think being an actor just makes sense because since I'm so into motivational speaking, if I could use my voice in a more powerful way that I can get on TV screens, get in a bigger audience, reaching more people around the world, why not do that? I'm not doing it for the paycheck. I'm doing it because I just love inspiring other people. Like, I watch a lot of Morgan Freeman, Will Smith, like movies like that, and I really dissect and like pick their brains apart and how they speak, how they word it, because that's something how I do it. And I want to be able to be like, not be like them, but just create my own narrative of myself. Like, if they can do it, I can do it. And a lot of people don't understand that Morgan Freeman didn't become an actor until he was 56 years old. You know what I mean? Like, people think that you got to make it by 25 or your dream is done. That's not the case. Everybody's timeline is different. Everybody's journey is different. You can't control what happened yesterday. You can only control what happens now, how you react to it, and how you move forward from it. A lot of people try to compete with other people. It's not me versus you. It's me versus me. And that's how every narrative people should have is it's me versus me, not me versus you. Everybody runs their own race. Everybody's timeline is different. Just because somebody made it at 25, got a mansion, got an Audi R8, got all the money in the world, are they truly happy? You don't know that. People can paint this perception that they're happy with fake a smile. Anybody can fake a smile. At the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, are you happy with all that? Because me, materialistic stuff doesn't mean anything to me. If I leave an impact on society and I do right by myself, that stuff will come, but it doesn't make me. What makes me is how much rich I am in my mind. Being rich in your mind is more important than being rich materialistically. That's how I look at it, because if you're rich in your mind, you can do anything. And you got to understand this. Stop chasing other people. Run your own race. Like I said, just because somebody made it at 25 does not mean that you are failing, doesn't mean that you're behind. It just means that you got to go back to the drawing board. You got to ask yourself, why am I not there yet? And figure out why you're not there yet. Take those baby steps. Enjoy the process. People try to rush the process and think it's gonna play the way they want it to. You gotta rush yourself to get where you gotta be, but you can't rush the process. You gotta keep telling yourself, like, okay, take the baby steps, go with the flow, understand that it's not gonna happen today, not gonna happen tomorrow, it may not even happen next week. That's okay. It's not, like, Rome wasn't built in a day. You know that they paint that narrative growing up. Rome was not built in a day. You're not going to be built in a day either. Give yourself some praise. Pat yourself on the back a few times and say, look, I came this far. I came this far on my own. Nobody helped me. And you got to tell yourself, I tell myself every day, I didn't come this far just to come this far. And that's something I tell myself every single day.
That's a big one.
I didn't come this far just to come this far. And if you keep telling yourself that every single day, I look in the mirror. People are going to think I'm crazy, but I look at myself in the mirror every day and I say, Nick, you are going to be great. I tell myself that every morning. And people think, oh, that's talking to something. Why would you do that? You know why I do that? Because one, it builds confidence in myself. It builds more character in me. And I actually, if you speak powerful affirmations and positive affirmations to yourself, you start to manifest that every day. You may not notice it, but you start to manifest it more and more. And the things you start to say make sense.
No, that's totally true. The things that you hear they influence you. You got to think about when you were a kid, right? The way we even learn English, if you speak English, right? The way we learn English is because our parents spoke English around us. I heard somebody say this one time. You don't know when you learned your name, right? When you were born, your parents were like, hey, Nick, hey, Nick, hey, Nick. You didn't register until a certain period of time, but they said it over and over again until you realize that's who you were, right? It's the same thing with everything you say about yourself. So I think it's super important to speak positivity to yourself, just like you were saying, for all the reasons that you said. So we're going to put this on pause real quick. It's been a great conversation so far. We're going to put it on pause and we're going to get back into it.
Let's do it.
Cool. So, you were talking a little bit when you were talking about acting. You were talking about some of the people that you kind of study. Who are some other people maybe that influence you, or other places you learn from? Maybe their books, maybe their movies, maybe their videos. But where do you learn from? Because the mindset that you have isn't typical. So how do you develop that mindset?
Honestly, it's funny you asked that, Trevor. Me personally, like, I watch a lot of YouTube videos just strictly out of motivation. Like, when I wake up at 5, 6 in the morning to go to the gym, I kind of just watch like videos where I'm like, okay, like, it has to get my soul feed. Like, I have to feed my soul a little bit. So, sometimes when you listen to people speak, you get goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I kind of draw my motivation from. And like, there's something I actually put above my ceiling, above my bed every time I wake up. I wrote this note, being like January 1st of this year, 2022. Mm-hmm. I wrote this note, and every morning I wake up, I see it, and it just inspires me more and more every day. You want to know what that is?
Yeah.
Get your ass up.
That's a good note.
Get your ass up. You got work to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally something I wrote on the top of my ceiling, above my bed. Get your ass up. You got work to do. Because even when you make it to the top, what people don't understand is when you make it to the top, people get comfortable and think, okay, I made it. I can just sit back and kick back.
Mm-hmm.
I can drink my mimosa and be cool. That's not the case, bro.
Mm-hmm.
You got to work twice as hard to stay there at the top than what it took to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Because people worked hard to get to the top, not knowing that it's a mountain climb. It's a climb to get there. But then when you get to the top, they don't know what to do. They think, okay, I can just kick back. I can chill. I can put everything on pause. It's just going to come naturally. No, it's not going to come naturally. You got to continue to work hard at what you do, because as 20, 30 times harder it was to get there, it's going to be 30, 40, 50 times harder to stay there.
Mm-hmm.
People don't understand when you get to the top, you got to stay there. And because somebody's coming for your spot. And I just keep telling myself, like, Nick, someone's coming for your spot. Someone's out there trying to take what you got. It's not a competition, but at the end of the day, we're fighting for keeps.
Mm-hmm.
We're fighting for keeps. We're trying to get where we got to be. We've worked hard to get here. Sometimes you feel like you deserve it.
Yeah.
Honestly, no one really deserves anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about how much hard work you put into it, how badly you want it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to fall into the notion that you're going to let people stop you from what you're doing, you're going to actually follow your own heart and not follow what people want for you.
Mm-hmm.
You got to just tell yourself every single day, like, look, I've come this far. I got so much more to prove in myself. Don't prove it to society. You're not trying to prove anybody anything. You can have them have this notion that you're not doing nothing. You're sitting back, kicking back, watching movies all day. Let them have that. They got that. Let them have that win. But you know what you're doing. You don't always need to post on social media every move that you make, because a lot of people think that they need to post on social media every 5 minutes for people to keep up on what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You don't gotta prove nothing to nobody. Only you gotta prove that to yourself. If you're making a movie, if you're making some content, playing that content out for weeks, and then when you pop up out of nowhere, when you're in shape, you look different, people go, oh, Nick, Trevor, like, where y'all been at? You know what I mean? Like, I haven't seen you guys post nothing lately.
Mm-hmm.
Silence is everything.
Mm-hmm.
Silence moves are the best moves. You don't gotta tell people your every move. You don't gotta tell people the next step that you're taking, because let them guess. Mm-hmm. You and I were both told that growing up. You don't gotta tell everybody your every move.
Mm-hmm.
But the one thing I always try to find inspiration in is how long and how hard and how many tears and how much like sweat I had to put into my craft to get where I'm currently at, and I'm still not there yet. That's what wakes me up every morning. That's what keeps me going. The fear of not being able to try, and the stigma that people are out there clowning me, doubting me, throwing me under a rock, trying to suppress me in a box. I'm not going to play to that notion. I'm not going to play to that stigma that I'm going to fall into what they want me to be. I'm going to think freely for myself, and I'm going to keep telling myself that I'm in this for me. I'm going to prove you wrong, and I'm going to prove myself wrong, because I've already climbed this far. I've already gotten this far. So why not keep going? Mm-hmm. I've already put so much effort and time and patience into my craft and in myself. Why am I not going to keep going? Mm-hmm. Why would I not keep going? I've already proved it to myself that I can keep going. But people want to give up when it gets tough. When the going gets tough, keep going. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to the people around you. People are counting on you to to do something great in life. You are counting on yourself. And when you give up on yourself, you're giving up on all the things that you've put out into the world already. You're giving up on all the time, the effort, the patience that you've given yourself. You are not going to have it all together right away. You are not going to have every piece of the puzzle right away. But that's the best part about it. There's beauty in the struggle. You got to trust the process. You got to love every bit of the process and enjoy it. Don't try to rush it, because like I said, Rome was not built in a day. You got to enjoy the process. You got to love the process. The process got to be your best friend. So once you learn those key things, you are going to have a much smoother life, and a peace of mind is going to start to develop in yourself, because you don't let people throw you down under a rock and tell you what they want you to be. Instead, you think freely for yourself.
That's true. And you talk a lot about kind of flipping negativity into motivation. But what has it felt like? Because it's not like everybody's hating on you now. Like, you've done very well for yourself. You've put yourself in a position where people are starting to recognize the work that you've done. So I've seen a bunch of articles being written about you. So on the converse, what does it feel like when people actually do start recognizing the work? Where, you've been working for years and years and years, and people may have been telling you, hey, you're not going to make it. Hey, what you're doing is stupid. They're laughing at you, this, that, and the third. What does it feel like when the positive reviews start to come in? Where you start seeing articles from here, there, and everywhere coming in like, hey, Nick's doing this with his brand. Nick's inspiring the youth. When you start to see some of the fruits of your labor, what does that feel like?
It's funny because those same people that are saying, oh, Nick, I'm proud of you, you're doing great, I always believed in you. Those are the same people that doubted me. The same people that clown me, told me I wasn't going to be nothing. And honestly, I don't sit here and say, oh, I don't need you to talk to me. I don't need to hear from you. I just take it as okay, maybe they see something that I don't. And that's part of what I was saying, that is people will try to clown you and throw you down until they know that you're going to be something. They're afraid of what you can be. They're afraid of how much potential and greatness you have inside of you. But they see something that you don't. So if they're seeing that and you don't even see it, that should tell you something. Because if people see something in you that you don't even see, you got to ask yourself, what is it that they're seeing that I'm not seeing? What is it that they're looking at and viewing from the inside out that I can't even see within myself? That should give you goosebumps right there. That should give you goosebumps right there, because some of you have only scratched the surface of what you really could be. Some of you have only scratched the surface of your true potential, but you won't know what that is until you actually, one, know yourself, you start to love yourself, and you start to remember you got to humble yourself in the process. Once people start to get a little bit of clout, a little bit of hype, they start getting comfortable. It always runs back to the comfortable point. You can't be comfortable. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Because when you're uncomfortable, the things that aren't making sense to you right now, it's going to open up a lot more doors, open up a lot of gray areas in your life and your mental. And sometimes you just got to be in tune with your spirit. If your spirit and your intuition is telling you not to go for it, don't do it. If it's telling you something that's not best for you, you got to listen to it. Because it's not doing that for no reason. Sometimes when you're growing up, and even now, sometimes people have these dreams that, I woke up and I was like, why did I have this dream? But then when you start to have it more and more, you think, okay, maybe this is a pattern. Maybe this is the universe or my guidance trying to tell me something, like maybe I shouldn't pursue this path. Maybe I shouldn't. But sometimes you got to learn the lesson the hard way in order for you to understand that if they're trying to point these signs to you, it's for your benefit. It's to help you grow and be better. Sometimes you just got to take it for what it is. And sometimes both of you and I have learned, we learned the hard way, bro.
Yeah, that's a fact.
We have learned the hard way. Even though we didn't want to, and we try to make it seem like, all right, we just got to push it aside and just let it be. But we've humbled ourselves along our journey to the point where we can say to ourselves that we're doing it. We're doing it. Like, even when we thought we couldn't do it, we're still here trying to be better every single day. Like, we're not satisfied. No matter how far we've come, we are not satisfied. And I'm not satisfied with myself. I don't care how much money I make, how many houses I have, how many cars I have, how much fame I have to my name. I still got more to prove. I still got so much more to prove. I am never going to be comfortable. I'm never going to be satisfied. And nobody ever should. Nobody ever should. You're going to have haters. You're going to have people trying to, tag by your jeans and try to get dragged along with you because they know how great you're going to be. But at the same time, you got to remember this. They weren't with you when you were struggling. When did they ask if you were ever okay? They only asked you for something because it could benefit them. They only wanted something from you in that point in time because they knew it could benefit them. They don't actually care about you, the individual. They don't care about what you have to offer in your heart, in your mental, in your spirit. They care about what you have to offer materialistically, physically, and what you can give them when they know you have nothing to your name, but they still want to get something out of you. those are the people you gotta stay away from, because those people are actually gonna be to your detriment later on in life. And those people are very toxic. I always preach that a negative and toxic situation will help you realize the positive in it. What do I mean by that? You gotta look at everything from a positive light. No matter if someone's good for you, if they're bad for you, people are gonna come in your life and think, and you're gonna think to yourself, is this person really meant to be in my life? Are they really worth the headache? Whether it's friendships, relationships, business partnerships, you gotta look at it and think, damn, if they're disturbing my peace in any way, shape, or form, I gotta get rid of them. I gotta get rid of them, because my frame of mind and my peace, if it gets disturbed, that's how you know that I'm losing myself. You have to look out for yourself first, always.
Do you have mentors?
Honestly, bro, no. It's funny you say that, because I never had a mentor. I never had a mentor. People look at me like, Nick, wow, how are you so influential and wise beyond your years at 26 years old? Well, it's funny you say that. It's because of the journey I had to take to get here. People don't understand that they only know so much about you based off what you tell them. They don't know what it took for you to get here. They don't know how many obstacles you had to overcome. They don't know how many battles you had to take. They don't know how many wars in your mind and in society that you had to go through. They don't know those things. They don't know the steps that it took to get here. And the funny thing about it is, that's the beautiful part about it. And the reason why I say it's beautiful is because only you know that. Only you know what it took to get where you are right now. Nobody is ever going to know your journey, your battle, and your triumphs more than you. Life is all about trial and error. You got to go through things to really understand it. You got to understand what it is that makes you tick, that makes you who you are, that makes you, feel more confident in yourself. You got to understand that life is all about trial and error. If you don't go through it, you'll never know. But if you don't take that leap of faith, you'll never know either. So you got to ask yourself, is it worth the headache? Is it worth finding out more about myself? Because again, there's always more you can learn about yourself. Even the people that say that, I'm happy, I have a great peace of mind. We all have flaws. We all got baggage, bro. We are not perfect. We got to stop painting this narrative that we're trying to be perfect. We are not perfect. We are human beings. We are capable of emotion. We are capable of being happy one minute and then crying the next. You understand? So don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself some grace. Give yourself a pat on the back. That's one thing I've learned to do. I am so hard on myself to the point where I was like, Nick, you've come so far, bro. You could have gave up countless times. You could have threw in the towel, but you didn't. You know what I mean? The fact that I'm still here standing, and between you and I, bro, I had a lot of mental health issues. Like, my own family doubting me, my inner circle doubting me, telling me I wasn't going to be crap. And the fact that I'm still here standing, I got to be proud of myself for that, because not many battles that you go through, somebody else could go through. Everybody's battle is different. You can't compare your journey, your battles, to somebody else's, because everybody goes through it different. But I got to be grateful and humble myself, because somebody out there could be going through it worse than me. I just got to keep telling myself that.
That's a fact. So you're 26 now. You've been through a whole lot of stuff. You've learned a lot of lessons. You've tried a whole lot of different things. What's one piece of advice, if you could go back in time to your 16-year-old self and just give yourself some advice, what would you say?
Honestly, the one thing I would tell myself, and there's a lot of things I would tell my 16-year-old self, I would just be like, dude, don't be dumb. Like, you're going to make a lot of mistakes along the way. You're going to have a lot of struggles. You're going to have a lot of heartaches. You're going to have people that, you have to cut off. But you got to learn that. You got to go through that yourself. Love the journey. Love every bit of it. Understand what makes you you. And just, don't try to be perfect. Stop trying to paint this narrative you got to be perfect. You're a human like anybody else. You go through trial and error like anybody else. You struggle like anybody else. You experience heartache and disaster like anybody else. Love the process. Most importantly, be patient. Don't rush nothing that's not meant for you. Once you're patient, you learn more about yourself and you learn more about life. Life is going to try to come crashing down on you. Life is destined for us to fail. They won't tell us that, but life is designed for us to fail. But it's up to us to wake up every day, to go out and make it happen. And no matter what happens at the end of that day, we're confident when we go to bed that we made every single step possible throughout those 24 hours that we're given every single day. And I would just tell them, like, dude, look, have fun, bro. Have fun. Enjoy life. Like, yeah, life is about business, about work, trying to be a better individual and trying to make, a name in society. But enjoy life. Don't be stupid. Have fun and just enjoy it. Enjoy the process. Enjoy all the heartache. Enjoy all the struggle. It's not meant to be sad about. It's meant to build you up, help build character, help build intention inside you. And that's really what I would tell them, man. And all the things I would tell them that.
That's important. I think a lot of people need to hear that because whether they're on a journey of finding themselves, whether they think they find themselves or not, I think what you said, like you gotta have fun, but don't be too stupid about it.
Exactly.
It's a delicate balance to strike. Now for you, what does a day in your life look like? Are you focused on, like in terms of you're working out, you're doing all this, like how can somebody, I guess more so, level up, right? Because you're very much on top of it. I see you're in the gym. You're taking care of yourself mentally. Like, how does someone get to the point where they're kind of hitting on all cylinders?
Honestly, the one thing I'll say before I answer that is don't exhaust yourself. Like, pick times throughout the day and the 24 hours that you're given to really like be strategic about it. Like, wake up in the morning. Like me, I go to the gym 5 or 6 a.m. Then in the afternoon when I'm done with working, I just go to the gym again, or I go home. I watch YouTube videos, whether it's like helping develop a better mental intuition, how to take control of my emotions, my mental health. Like people think that that's stupid. Like I'm a human, I can do it myself. Like watching videos and actually watching something visually can actually do a lot for you. And then sometimes I also just go out, take nature walks, even if it's cold. I dress warm. I go out and take like a long 20-30 minute nature walk. I just learn to be with myself because a lot of people, they need validation from others. They need to be around people to validate themselves. I've learned to be in tune with myself. Once I know how to be in tune with myself and love myself, I can go give that love to somebody else. And I think that's important. Like I've gone days where sometimes I just take nature walks all day long. Sometimes I just go to the gym. I sit in the steam room. Like I take long drives. Sometimes I just think, like I'm always thinking of new ways to be better, to improve and perfect my craft, develop a better understanding of myself, and just understand that throughout a daily routine, the secret to your success is sitting in your daily routine. Once you understand that, what you do in your daily routine matters. If you aren't being productive towards your craft, towards yourself, you're only hurting yourself. You're not hurting anybody else, you're only hurting yourself. So I think what you do in those 24 hours given is up to you. You gotta be strategic. Sometimes if you're doing too much, take a nap. Shut social media off. We try to be on social media so much. Social media has ruined this generation in a sense. Like we believe everything we see on social media. That's not always true. It's fake reality. People trying to give this notion that they're really happy, but deep down they're not. You know what I mean? So I don't always play into that narrative. I just tell myself, like, look, I'll shut my phone off for an hour, won't answer nobody, and just be to myself. I think that's important because once you know how to be with yourself and you don't need validation from anybody but you develop a more like keen sense and a better peace of mind.
That's facts. How do you balance Stan? Because I think what you said about social media is important. I don't want anybody to take it out of context because you use social media to your benefit,
all the time.
but there's a smart way to do it. So how do you balance being somebody who, again, utilizes social media, you're posting positive stuff on there, you're helping people through social media. How do you balance being on social media and using it to your advantage, but not letting the negative side get to you?
You gotta learn to take a break sometimes. You gotta learn to take a break. People think that you gotta work 24 hours around the clock, 7 days a week. That's not always the case. You gotta take like 1 or 2 hours of the day to just decompress. Because it's funny. People don't understand your brain runs quicker than your body. Your brain's moving faster than your body. Sometimes your body can't keep up with your brain because you're thinking so much. You're planning out your next move. You're trying to be strategic. You gotta understand that your body doesn't keep up with your mind. So once you learn how to bring everything down to center and control it, it'll make a lot more sense because you just gotta be able to plan ahead, plan for the future. You gotta plan for the right now. People focus so much on the future, but they don't plan for the right now. You know what I mean? So I try to think about what happened in the past, how I could be better from it. I don't dwell on the past because you can't dwell on the past. It's back there for a reason. You gotta focus what you got in front of you right now and then plan for the future. Because if people try to just jump 10 years, 30 years ahead and they're not even focusing on right now, what's that doing for you? What is that doing for you? You got to be able to stay in the right now, focus on what you have in front of you, develop that, perfect it, project it to yourself, project it to society. Then everything else will start to fall into place. Once you get those little minor details, you can't ignore the minor details because those make the major steps. People ignore the minor details and think that the major steps are going to follow after that. That's not always the case. You just got to develop a sixth sense for yourself, a sixth sense for the craft. Like, you got to be hungry for it. You got to wake up every day and be like, yo, I'm hungry for this, man. Like, nobody wants it more than me. You got to tell yourself every single day that I am not going to do any wrong by myself. I can do this. I'm going to make it happen. I don't care what it takes, how I'm going to do it. I don't even know what I'm going to do it. But if it's going to happen regardless, because I have the drive, I have the mindset, I have the heart to follow it. And I promise you that everything that I've always said I was going to do is gonna come to fruition. You gotta tell yourself that every single day. Speak positive affirmations. Like I speak positive affirmations to myself every day. I meditate twice a day, morning and night. Like, bro, that meditation stuff is legit, man. It's legit. Like 10 minutes on the morning, 10 minutes at night. Like just meditate, be with your thoughts, control your breath. If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed throughout the day, take a minute. It's like, all right, put my phone down, put my work down, whatever I'm doing. Deep breath. 1 to 2, 3 deep breaths, you'll feel better. Like controlling your mental and controlling your emotions is so important because that's what helps you move forward in life. Yeah, what you do physically matters, but what you do mentally, emotionally, and spiritually matters most too. You can't ignore those things.
Man, that's powerful. That's powerful. And you gave a lot of like concrete advice that people can use. And I think what you said is important. But a lot of people focus heavily on what they're gonna do next, and they forget to enjoy now. But with that being said, I am gonna ask, what is next for you? Like, what's coming on the horizon again? It's a new year. It's 2022. What do you have coming up this year that you're excited about? What are you looking towards in the future? What can we expect from you?
Honestly, you can expect a lot from OTM. We're going to build a brand to a very big plateau platform and try to make it global. Right now, we're just getting across the U.S. We're getting out in a few stores. We're down in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
So we got one in Miami. We're trying to get one in Braintree Mall. We're just trying to expand to different like local stores around the country and just keep expanding. And as far as the acting side, I'm got a few movies I'm going to be featured in. And I got a few shows I'm supposed to be featured in, but I don't want to get too much into that because it's like the
you can't talk about it.
confidentiality thing. So just know, like I'm working. I mean, I may not be saying everything that I'm doing, but I'm working. So, I promise if you follow me on social media, if you follow my journey, you'll know what I'm doing. And I promise you that it's gonna be worth the wait. It's gonna be worth the wait. And I got a lot of content I'm already planned. I'm gonna be dropping in the next week or two, and it's gonna be consistent. Like we're gonna shock the world this year, bro. We're gonna shock the world. We're gonna shock ourselves and. Everybody who ever doubted, I got something for you.
You sure do. Where can people find you? Where can people follow you?
You can follow me on social media at Instagram at OTMNick, Facebook Nick Loriano, Twitter at Nick Loriano 2. That's kind of it, really.
For sure.
I'm all over.
I'm going to throw all the links in the comments. Thank you for coming through, man. This has been dope. Yeah, man. If you're listening to this on YouTube, make sure you throw it a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're on podcast, or if you're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. All right, leave a review, 5 stars, hopefully. Let us know. Make sure you give Nick a follow. I'm gonna drop all his information in the comments so you guys can go follow him. Make sure you stay tuned. Go get you some merch. Make sure you follow me and keep up with what we got going on. Leave me some feedback, but. Y'all heard everything he gave y'all today. Make sure you take that information and run with it and boss up your life, level up your life because, it's a new year and we got a lot of great things coming. So once again, bro, I appreciate you.
Alright, bro, we're here.
Yes, sir.